It's day 312 or something. Just kidding. Hasn't even been a week, but I've been trying to come out here pretty much every day, at least a little bit, to work on this. It doesn't look that much different from when you guys last saw it, but these blocks here are now all in place. I took way too long to level it and get it all the way I wanted to. Definitely should not quit my day job to be a landscaper, that's for sure. I can already tell way back there that it looks like it's a little low, so I probably need to take these like 3 or 4 bricks right here and raise them up a 1/4 inch or maybe an inch. Nah, not that much, but it's stuff like that, you know, just trying to get it all perfect so each little stone isn't wobbly or a 1/2 inch higher or lower than the other. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. I am really hopeful that this pays off. I'm really hoping that at the end of the day, this makes operations a lot more reliable, a lot less derailments, and a lot easier to maintain. But we'll know that later. So this is kind of the layout as it is. Not too much different. I'm gonna go back to this, not a true crossover switch, because I can't find the right pieces to do that, but these are R3 switches, and this worked good last time, so my hope is that I can back the train out, come over here, and then go switch right on to the secondary inner line, and then it could go around, and that way it'll be easier for me to do 2 trains. I thought about using that double curve switch right here to, like, you know, normal and then curve it back and then put one of the other R3 switches here so that it kind of like went straight and hooked in. It would have been cool. I've already got these blocks in place, and I'm like, you know what, Scott, just let's get this done. Let's just, you know, this may not be as exotic and natural fluid shapes and curves, but it'll work. So especially with all these blocks here, that was my goal, is to try and put all the switches on nice even blocks, so it's like you don't have, you know, I think in one of my other videos you saw me talking about how if the switch isn't perfectly level in all planes, it tends to cause derailments. So I'm hoping this section in here, I'm gonna, before I put the track down for good, I'm gonna make sure all of this is 100% level and flat and tamped down so that these switches are just locked in and they're not gonna be on uneven terrain. So yeah, you can see the inner loop starting about here. I broke it, and this is going to be at the same height as the outer loop, which means all of this back here I'm going to have to raise up a little bit, at least to about that point. That'll be another project. That's not on my agenda for today. There's that switch back there that used to connect to the outer loop. I did remove that on the outer loop. It just, I rarely used it. The only time I used it was to get my trains on the inner loop, but now that I have this, that's unnecessary because the trains can either come on this way or back in that way. I don't know what else to say other than that. I'm having to hack a few pieces of track together to make things work. This was a tighter fit than I remember. This is my R3 turn, but it is very minimal, like not minimal, very constrained. Like it will not fit any other way. So yeah, I think the only other 2 things to discuss is I'm thinking about doing an R5 turn here instead of the R3. R3 is an 8-foot diameter. R5 is, I think, a 15-foot diameter. Don't quote me on that. So it's quite a lot shallower. But that's what I have up here. This little bend here, that's a little R5 bend. And so I thought, well, if I do I have the space, I have all this empty space here. So I'm like, well, a smoother turn is better. Not that an R3 is going to be a problem, but hey, I got extra R5. A slight curve looks better than a sharper curve, so I'm going to try to put that in. That means I'm going to have to take these 2 larger pieces out and cut to fit in a few spots. Same with the switches here. I'm probably going to have to put a small spacer unit in there so I can fit this full length track in between the 2. So there's still a lot of work to do. I don't think I'm going to be done for another week or so, but it's getting closer. And the extra height is nice. I think having that extra height and minimizing the grade, I'm really hoping that makes a big impact on how I can run my trains, but we'll have to wait and see.